Welcome to Purple Easel Spotlight, where we put the spotlight on artists and creatives. My name's Latoya.
And I'm Megan.
And we're both art instructors here at California's largest paint and sip studio, Purple Easel. Today we're going to be covering J.C. Leyendecker, not J.C. Jesus Christ, but J.C. We go by J.C. I'm going to call him J.C.
All right, I got it.
Yes.
I got it.
And if you live in America, you have been influenced by him somehow, some way. And so how I got into the J.C. Leyendecker talk is I talked to my fiance and I was like, hey, so what artist should I cover? And he goes, everyone in America should know about J.C. Leyendecker. And I was like, okay.
I can so picture him too.
Yes.
Siri.
Yes. I was like,
To read that.
okay.
That's great.
So then I looked into it. I see, oh, okay, I see why he said that. I see. So here's the tea. J.C. was an American illustrator in the early 20th century. He is best known for his poster, book, and advertising illustrations. So he basically is like somewhat of an American icon in the fact that he has changed American culture so vast, encompassing like art, advertising, fashion, societal representation, the way we see the New Year's baby, the way that we see Santa Claus, and all that stuff. You couldn't escape his work, period, if you lived in the early 1900s in America. So here are some of his notable clients that you might be familiar with. We have Boy Scout of America, Collier Weekly, Cooper Underwear, Cream of Wheat, Ivory Soap, Carol Corn Syrup, Kellogg's Company, Kellogg's Company, Saturday Evening Post, U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, U.S. Navy. And this is just not all of it. That wasn't the whole list.
The highlights.
It's just the highlights.
Wow.
He's estimated to have created, it's estimated because it's a lot. Like
Wants to count that high?
exactly, thousands of work. So he really deserves like 2 hours worth of airtime. However, we're just going to take the bulk of what we know about him and regurgitate it back at you. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Saturday Evening Post. And this is huge. It was created in 1821. And guess what? It's still alive today online. I did not know that until I Googled it, so you can still check them out.
Really?
Online, yes. It was a weekly magazine that was widely read, and it was super duper influential in like the 1900s. And JC created a total of 322 covers for the magazine. So yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna pull up, here we go, Santa Claus right here.
Ooh.
The Santa Claus that we know and love. This issue at 1923. So essentially what you see here is you got the red coat, you got the hat, you got the boots and all that jazz. Let's see the next one. So, up a little bit, yes. So basically his vision of Santa Claus, like of course Santa Claus had always existed before JC.
Right. Is
But-
this basically where it transitions from like Saint Nick imagery into the more Santa Claus that we know in the modern?
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly it. So he basically helped, shape the contemporary image of Santa Claus and American culture. Here we go again with another one. They're so bright and they're so
And they're so wholesome.
So, and it's interesting because this was it. Like this is our Santa Claus that we know today.
Yeah.
That we know now.
It's so weird to think there was a time before.
Yeah.
I just love the colors. I love the expressions. I love this whole like, here, doggy, don't bite me. I might be stealing into your home in the middle of the night, but there's no need to be alarmed.
Yes. I do. I think this whole time period is got that wholesome vibe.
Yes.
Everything about it is just very wholesome.
It is.
Very American family.
It really reflects the times.
Yes.
Though. Like that was life. And I think you think of like Coca-Cola and like these established brands that really started to push what advertising was.
Yeah.
And obviously JC had a huge hand in that. Some of those brands I did not realize had been around that long.
And the craziest thing is if you looked at a magazine, if you went to the grocery store, if you did anything, you would see his work. It was...
If you existed.
Essentially, yeah. if you existed in the 1900s in America.
Why don't we talk about him?
So here's the interesting thing that I want to bring up is Norman Rockwell, because we always talk about Norman Rockwell for whatever reason, but we don't really bring up JC. And Norman Rockwell came 20 years after JC. However, they both worked at the Saturday Evening Post.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they both worked there, and there was no rival, because sometimes you hear like these artists like rivalry situations. Yes. In fact, Norman Rockwell once said of Leyendecker taught me the difference between an illustrator and an artist. He was the best illustrator in America. Leyendecker, in turn, was also known to speak very highly of Rockwell. So
wow, that's cool. I love artists supporting artists.
Yeah.
And you hear about the rivalries a lot, but you don't really hear about the support. And there's really no reason not to. Because chances are, and I guess in some ways, yes, it's a finite resource and you're competing for same clientele, maybe, sort of, depending on what niche you're in. But, I mean, art is so prolific. You can never have too much of it.
Yeah.
So why does it matter?
Yeah, we both share the same space.
Like, just everybody coexist.
Yeah, and that's very much Rockwell was very inspired.
Yeah.
Kind of saw JC as like a mentor.
I mean, it's a very similar style. So I totally see that. And I just love that they have affection for each other's work, and like there's a certain collaboration that happens as an artist. You don't create in a bubble.
Yeah.
Everything around you, everything you see influences you as a person, as an artist. And so that shows in your work. And so unless you're in a cave somewhere, and even then, there are cave paintings from LaSalle, like way back when, of handprints and animals and all that stuff. So since the beginning of humanity.
Imagine being a caveman drawing like, I don't know, a wolf, and like some other caveman being like, I can do that better. Like, you know.
It's such an interesting juxtaposition of like, there is that drive, like, oh, I like that, but I would change this. And then you try it in your way. And
we do it here all the time.
All the time. In fact, last night when I was instructing, I had a gentleman who was like, Megan, help me fix this. Help me make it look like yours. And I looked at it and I was like, no. Because it's perfect. It's in your style. You have a heavy hand. My clouds are light and feathery because I'm smushing the brush in a different way, but his are more like graphic. I'm like, I love how it is. I said, don't force it. And then I ran into the office and I grabbed an example of my wave versus the one that we normally, the original. And so when we instruct, we really want to duplicate the original as close as possible, because guests are coming in expecting to eat that thing, and we want to deliver on that. However, as an artist, sometimes it's really hard to shut off your own style. And so like mine creeps in here and there, and I showed him the example. I showed him, this is the original and this is my version of it. And you can just see there's like, it's a little bit more linear, things like that. I was like, so just lean into it. It's okay.
Yeah,
like,
it's okay to have your own style.
Don't stifle yourself.
Yeah.
In the name of copying something exactly.
Lessons by Megan. I've been looking forward to cover the Arrow Collar Man. And so here's the tea on this. So all of these images that we're about to see are of Charles Beach. And at the time, that was like the pantheon of like hotness, uber sex symbol. The girls were fanning themselves. They like look at their magazine like, oh, I want my man to look like Charles. Oh my gosh. And they didn't even know his name probably. He was just the Arrow.
Dude.
Yeah, the Arrow Collar Man. In fact, he was even referenced in The Great Gatsby.
Really?
Because the girl in the book was like, oh, Gatsby, Daisy. You're cool like this guy, like the Arrow Collar guy.
Man.
So
like that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
You refer to Gatsby, but
yeah.
I see. That's cool. He was the Gatsby before Gatsby.
Exactly. He was the it guy, and he was also JC's same-sex partner.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, we love that for him. So these are two iconic images. This is both Charles. I can see, he's good looking. He's a little cutie patootie. Yeah, he's kind
The
of cute.
rosy cheeks and the like piercing eyes, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of like little butt chin too. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Square
He's
jaw.
got the Henry Cavill.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, this is both of him. This is an oil painting by JC called the Arrow Collar Advertisement. It's just an advertisement, 1909. And this is both JC and Charles right here.
So a self-portrait with his partner. That's cool.
But the cool thing I like about it is this is what JC did was a lot of like male masculinity. This is what you're supposed to look like as a man because it's advertisements.
Right.
So men would look at this and be like, oh, yes, I need to look like these men.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was my impression.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, they would look at this and that's what you would want to the socks, the shoes, like the everything. That's
The epitome of manliness. I mean, there's a bit of a social commentary there.
yeah.
I mean, they probably didn't even know. And it just goes to show you that you can't judge a book. Like here we're holding this guy up as the epitome of masculinity. But in his life, you know, he was doing things that a lot of those people probably wouldn't have approved of at the time. And it's just kind of sad that there's that disconnect.
Yeah. Just in general, I just love this as art pieces. Like, I know they're advertisements, but these are just very stunning.
I love how his tuxedo just fades into the background.
Yeah.
And you've got that little boutonniere just like pop. Oh, it's stunning. And the craftsmanship on the stage,
Yeah.
all the details that have been captured there. I'm sure there was probably actual models in a place somewhere that he just copied because
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, that's how they probably became a thing because that was one of his models that he would paint.
totally makes sense.
But yeah, I love the contrast. It looks like they're glowing. So this bright light and then like all the darkness in the background. But yeah, it's a really stunning piece and very iconic too for JC's work. All right, I'm gonna end it with the New Year's babies. Yes, so every single year at the Saturday Evening Post, or at the end of the year, obviously, these New Year babies. So these are a few like 1935 and what else we got? See, 1940. And basically this was a little rendition. Rendition, is that a real word?
Rendition?
Rendition?
There you go.
Yes. Of what was going on in America during that time. So this is kind of ending on that note and then starting anew, but also change the way we see the babies as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he really went for it. The baby with the gas mask. Boy, that sure says a lot.
Yeah, they're very iconic. Not all of them are nice babies. It's New Year's.
Right.
Some of it's like
Some of them are, and then maybe less so on others.
here is the J.C. Leyendeckers Kellogg's Kids cereal ads. There is a ton of them.
Low-key creepy. I'm not gonna lie. At this, it's the looking like through your brow.
Like who eats cereal? Like and also high key, the way these are lined up, they kind of make me think of like Magic the Gathering cards.
Yes, I totally see it.
I don't know.
Totally see it.
So
That's amazing. You know, speaking of Kellogg, did you know why cornflakes was invented?
no.
So there was a predominant theory that bland foods would help you, how do I say this delicately, fit that Victorian image of purity. So essentially, it was made to lower your sex drive because.
Is that what people wanted? Is that what they wanted?
Yeah, I mean, they were putting table skirts to hide legs of tables because they were too sensual. So there's that. Thanks, Kellogg.
My mind's blown. I'm sorry. I'm gonna add to that. What? Okay. Question. So, but
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break you.
Well, no, because we have Charles Beach, who's such a like icon. I mean, okay, so he wasn't well, I don't know. I just know that women were probably clenching their pearls, like, oh, like.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was that transition period. So, I mean, maybe some of his work, they were coming out of that, but that's why Kellogg's existed. That might not be why he was advertising them.
Well, yeah.
A little bit of a disconnect there as Kellogg, the brand, started going, but I thought that was a fun little extra.
He is too old and too young.
Too old, too young. The boy with the rosy cheeks.
Yes, that's right here.
Yeah, and the suit.
Well, actually, the one
wearing a suit.
I was like, yeah, this tall dress guy.
So spiffy.
Yes.
Now we just put them in jump clothes.
Oh, yes. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, he looks way beyond his age.
He looked 50 and 12 at the same time.
Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder what he grew up to look like.
Yeah. But that's what you need to know about JC. He changed literally the way we see things, how we buy our clothes, like just all the advertising, all of that stuff was hugely influential in American culture.
Absolutely.
So because JC did a lot of men's fashion advertisements, I kind of wanted to stick with the fashion theme, and I wanted to cover Edurardo Torres. He's from Mexico, and his handle is Eddybujo. And he is a fashion illustrator and fashion designer. And here is his work. They're all pen and like color pencil. And the craziest thing about this, like you have to look at it. There's videos of him creating it. And the detail is so small. There's to a point to where he takes, it looks, I couldn't quite see because it's so small.
Yeah.
It was like a little shaver with, so you have color pencil and like a tool to shave off the color pencil and then applying that on for like the blush of the model. So it's really small, fine detail. And it just looks real. Like it looks
photorealistic. Like that is cut out of a magazine.
Yeah.
Some model somewhere had a photo shoot.
Yeah, it was so good. I was like, I gotta watch some of these. And then you'll see it just from scratch. It's amazing. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. The texture. Now this one does look a little bit more illustrated, especially in the face.
Yeah.
But the gown is stunning.
I know, these are so, look at that.
Now, are these things that are actually put into production?
You know, it seems like he tags a lot of like,
clothing design?
Yes. So they exist and then he like draws them.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the attention to detail for me that really gets me.
So this one in particular, there's like that translucent almost. How did he even achieve that? That's amazing. I've done a bit of colored pencil work myself, and I can't imagine doing anything that detailed because you can only get your pencil so sharp.
So I 100% agree because I used to only work with color pencil at a time, and so I was thinking the same, like, how did he do that? But then when I saw him with the shaver, I was like, okay, that makes it looks like a lot of layering, even with the pen, because some of it was just straight up pen, and you gotta look at it. That's the best way for me to explain it. I was like, dang, a lot of layering. But again, like because again, I was like, okay, you can only sharpen it to such a point. How are you getting it so small? But again, like the little shaver, it looked like a little shaving thing, and then applying that and then scraping that onto the paper.
I bet for some of the highlights, he probably even uses like an X-Acto or something to take away some of the color to get like those very precise little lines kind of running through that give you the definition of the shape of the gown. Wow, that is stunning.
It's so clean too.
So detailed.
It's so detailed and so clean. I would definitely have. I'm good. You know, I've been drawing and painting and stuff for quite some time, but I still feel like I would like outside
like don't breathe.
No, don't breathe. Like
Yeah, I'm sure for a lot of the highlights and stuff, he probably even used an X-Acto to gently scrape away some of the color, because you'll see the highlight lines going all the way through. And in order to do that with colored pencil is hard. I guess not impossible because he's doing it, but also the way you have to think to leave that part all the way through to create that shape of the fabric is
it looks very realistic, even the faces and like the skin.
Yes, totally, all the shadowing, everything. So it's interesting how you said that he basically posts them and then tags designers and stuff. That's same thing as JC. That's advertising in the modern world. And you don't think of it as an advertisement. You just kind of sneak it in there.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what's happening. He's advertising his skill and putting it out there to all these designers, and then probably going to get commissions and whatever else off of it. And he's promoting those designers, whether they're paying him to do it or not. He's doing it of his free will and to have the inspiration. But like, that's social media it's it.
So that's also why I kind of picked this artist to follow up with JC, is because he was an advertised specialist, did a lot of like men's fashion, a lot of fashion type things. He did a whole bunch. He did stuff for the U.S. Navy and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
But this is also fashion related, and he, JC was like, this is, how men should look, and this is kind of like, well, this is what women also wear and what they look like now, today, and this year. So.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really cool comparison. Where we were, where we are, it only makes me wonder where we're gonna be.
And that goes into my next question.
What? I knew and I didn't even know.
Yes. So looking at art from the past till now, what do you think that the future people will think of present day art? What stands out about like 80s, 90s, or 2000s? What do you think people maybe 100, 200 years from now would look back at this time period and say that was the so-and-so time or whatever?
So as much as we look at like the turn of the century, right, from 1800s into the 1900s and all the technological advances that were happening, I mean, industrialization, railroads, like all that stuff kind of in a relatively short amount of time. It's going to be the exact same thing, but with computers. And it's going to be transitioning from the more traditional art into computerized art, or using computers as a tool and some combination of things. I think that's going to really mark our time period. I don't know exactly what they're going to think of all of those things. They might rebel against it and go back towards your more classical art stuff. Or it'll continue to progress and maybe we'll lose a lot of the more accepted practices that have been prior to now. I don't know. I can't do anything on the computer art-wise. I never learned. I actually did a presentation in high school. We had to pick a career and study it and look up like what the it was like the occupational handbook and all that stuff. Anyway, I did graphic design, and I took a graphic design course, and I realized, nope, computers do not like me. And I actually got an incomplete in that class, the only one I ever got, because when I was doing my final and I was saving along the way, as you're supposed to do, but the computer decided to freeze. And it was the end of final time. And so I told my teacher at the time, and he's like, oh, no problem, I'll just reboot it, whatever. Gone, lost it. So I got it incomplete and had to redo my like 3-hour final. And that just totally turned me off.
You're like, never again.
Like, I know the basics, I can get by, but I've never done like drawing on the computer or anything like that. So I will be left behind if that's the route everybody goes. I don't know.
You're like, my world. So I too also have an answer, and I 100% agree with your answer as well. But my answer is memes.
We're being defined by we.
I think memes are huge. Now, you're talking to the meme queen, so I feel like I'm biased in this. Like, I literally have like the what do you mean game that I win at. I send memes to everyone and whatever. But they didn't exist until recently. So I feel like if you were 100 years from now and you'd be like, the meme started in the meme cultures and the meme war. Because it is somewhat of a language and it's a pictorial language. And I could have been a historian of memes, I think. But
Still time.
there's still time. But I feel like it's such a huge... It's part of the culture of like
internet. The internet is memes at this point. Like it started off funny cat videos, and then it was like downloading music illegally, and now we're to memes.
Yes.
So
yes.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. I love that answer. That's very accurate. I wonder how people of the future will look at those and be like, what are they going to think?
Probably would be disgusted with that. I think.
Like, it's such a fleeting thing. Why would you put like, energy into it? Because there are memes that you got to keep up.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And if you don't keep up, you like...
Yeah, you fall off.
Yeah. There's definitely some that I'm like, okay.
And back in my day, you would have a meme that would last you a whole year.
It would. It would. You could milk it.
Yes, but the memes now, it's like a month. You get a month worth of a meme, and it's the next meme, so they don't last as long anymore.
So that kind of feels like a bit of a downer. We just got done saying how art is short-lived and disposable in the meme culture.
Yeah.
But I want to take us back to the fact that JC did weekly publications and the amount of effort he put in to those covers.
Yes.
Everything is an opportunity to grow your skill and show yourself. Don't take anything for granted. These are simple advertisements.
Oh, yeah.
But he's putting his everything into it to the point where someone who we know and love, like Norman Rockwell, is like, dude, this guy, right? Like, that says something.
That is
and
so
we
very
would
true.
Not have even known about him at all, which thank you, Ian, for the recommendation, because yes, every American knows but doesn't know they know it and should know. Yeah, he went for it, and I think that's what we need to do, and that's the message that we want to send home with you guys today is just do it and put your everything into it, whether people are going to see it or not, whether you're going to get acknowledgement or not. Put yourself out there, share your work. Only good things can come from it. Nothing bad is going to happen.
No. From all of us here at Purple Easel, thank you so much for tuning in.
Check out today's artists, JC Leyendecker and Edurardo Torres, in the links below.
Join us at purpleeasel+.com to paint with the world's largest paint sip studio online.
And if you're in Southern California, swing by the studio. In the meantime, create more and create often.
Bye.